Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We'll be reading from the book What Kind of Devotee Are You? Vaisnava Ke. Verse number 14. We'll be continuing today's reading from Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamam Bande Shri Gurum Deen Taranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyeshwaram Hari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vishaya Mimukshu Bhogera Bubhukshu Dui Tyaj Mana Dui Avaishnava Krishnera Sambandha Aprakrit Skandha Kabhu Nahe Taha Jadera Sambhava. My dear mind, due to your false pride, you sometimes think I am liberated from all attachments to this material world, and at other times you think I am an expert enjoyer of material sense gratification. You must reject both these mentalities, as both outlooks are totally non-Vaishnav. Instead, you should remain fixed in your relationship as an eternal servitor to Lord Krishna, performing unmotivated devotional service. This pure devotional service belongs to the spiritual world, which is far beyond the influence of this material world of birth and death. While thus purely engaged in Krishna consciousness, it is not possible for the material illusion or material contamination to remain. Purport: Srila Rupa Goswami taught in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that a devotee should accept what is favorable and reject what is unfavorable for devotional service. To avoid the two types of material tendencies mentioned in this verse, a devotee should test his devotional service attitude on a regular basis. This verse warns the mind against attachment to the ability to enjoy material nature, whether in one's past, present, or future, or attachment to renunciation of the material world and to merging into the spiritual effulgence of the Lord. Both mentalities are unfavorable for devotional service. A devotee's understanding of what is favorable or unfavorable for the devotional service must be constantly tested with sadhu, shastra, and guru to ensure that pure devotional service is not being compromised or replaced with material values. A devotee's reference point is his relationship with Lord Krishna. Attachments for past, present, or future sense enjoyments or liberation devoid of devotional service have the material world as their reference points. To perform unbroken and unmotivated devotional service while depending completely upon the mercy of Lord Krishna is a proper attitude of pure devotion. Conditioned souls are strongly attracted to this world of material enjoyment and naturally hanker after increasing personal wealth, position, and sense gratification. Since this natural tendency is due to the material conditioning and is not a spiritual quality, a devotee must weed out these material desires when they arise in the mind. Even the subtle satisfaction one may gain by remembering acts of sense gratification, even in one's dream, should be avoided as far as possible if one wants to develop spontaneous devotional service to Lord Krishna. The Bhagavad Gita explains how material attachments lead to lust, anger, illusion, and fall down due to meditating on the objects of the senses. Therefore, to achieve pure devotional service, one must carefully monitor the thoughts and subtle attachments of the mind. At the same time, by enthusiastically rendering devotional service and chanting the holy names of Krishna, the devotee's mind becomes steadier as he develops a higher transcendental taste in devotional service. Lord Krishna clearly explains this process in the Bhagavad Gita. One who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects as a tortoise draws its limbs within the shell is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness. The embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, though the taste for sense object remains, but ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. The senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjun, that they forcibly carry away the mind even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. One who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control, and fixes his consciousness upon me is known as a man of steady intelligence. While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment lust develops, and from lust anger arises. From anger complete delusion arises, and from delusion bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. When intelligence is lost, one falls down again to the material pool. But a person free from all attachment and aversion and able to control his senses through regulated principles of freedom can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. For one thus satisfied in Krishna consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. In such satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is soon well established. This is from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verses 58 to verse 65. When, however, someone becomes frustrated in material pleasure, he may desire liberation from personal existence, thinking of merging into existence of the Lord as an alternative to his material woes. This attachment aversion tendency is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita verses above. Therefore, such a desire for liberation is spiritually incomplete, as it lacks relationship with Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Aspiring for liberation from material pains and pleasures is simply a negative reaction to this imperfect world. Ultimately, it will be an impediment to attaining the highest perfection of life unless one's attachments can eventually be transferred to Lord Krishna by cultivation of pure devotional service. Pure Krishna consciousness is obstructed by simply desiring to end the prison life of repeated birth and death. Without simply desiring to repeated birth and death, without desiring to engage in positive service to the Lord. I'll repeat. Pure Krishna consciousness is obstructed by simply desiring to end the prison life of repeated birth and death without desiring to engage in positive service of the Lord. The desire for liberation eventually distracts one from higher goal, although in the beginning it may serve the useful purpose of detaching the senses from irregulated sense gratification and engaging them in Bhakti Yoga practice. When someone released from prison acts improperly and breaks the law, he is again incarcerated. If on the other hand he is properly trained and subsequently established in proper social behavior, there is little chance of his returning to the prison house. Similarly, proper action for a transcendentalist is action in devotional service, as it is above the three modes of material nature. Therefore, liberation which does not include an understanding of pure devotional service is not permanent, as it is not complete. Eventually, the impersonally liberated soul will soon return to the material world unless they take shelter of devotional service, as explained in the Bhagavad Gita. The impersonalists and the yogis attain liberation only after much trouble and many births. Even then, the liberation they achieve, merging into the impersonal Brahmajyoti of the Lord, is only partial, and there is the risk of returning again to this material world. But the devotee, simply by understanding the transcendental nature of the Lord, attains the abode of the Lord after ending this body and does not run the risk of returning again to the material world. This is from Bhagavad Gita 4.9. It is the purport of this verse 4.9 from Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, devotee fully trained to act in transcendental consciousness as a servitor of the Lord has no fear of falling back into the material world. Lord Krishna assures this in no uncertain terms. Ananya chetaha satatam yo mam samarati nityashaha tasyaham sulabhaha partha nitya yuktasya yoginah mam upetaya punarjanma dukhalayam ashashvatam napunvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gataha. For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Pritha, because of this his constant engagement in devotional service. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. This is from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, verses 14 and 15. In this verse of Vaisnava Ke, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is demonstrating how the devotee must train his mind to recognize these two enemies, to to devotional service, namely the desire for liberation and the desire for material enjoyment. A devotee must in all sincerity give up these two desires within himself while avoiding intimate association with persons who harbor them. Purifying oneself from such non-devotional desire, one should simply desire to serve Lord Krishna in pure devotion. This is how the mind should be trained. One should, through the method of constantly engaging the mind and senses in Radha Krishna's devotional service, keep the mind from being preoccupied with thoughts of liberation or sense gratification. One should never make the mistake of thinking that such service is material because it employs one's material mind and body. Such service is transcendental because it is connection with Krishna. It is in connection with Krishna, the transcendental Lord. On the contrary, as explained in previous verses, to externally give up material activities and retire to a secluded place for isolated yoga practice, all the while maintaining one's innermost material desires, is completely removed from spiritual activity. Again, renunciation with the intent to merge into the Lord's effulgence is merely a negation of material activity leading to incomplete liberation. These mistakes are great disturbances when attempting to achieve pure service for Krishna. For the devotee, liberation is very easy. Simply by engaging his mind and senses in Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement, he is immediately elevated to the transcendental platform. One should be fixed in faith with the knowledge that the processes of hearing, remembering, and serving are transcendental. There is not the slightest touch of the material nature in them. One is completely sheltered by transcendental potency while performing these spiritual activities. This confidential secret of Bhakti Yoga, the topmost of all yoga systems. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect." This is from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, verse 2. Self-realization is the greatest of all sciences. A devotee should be fully conversant with all aspects of this great science to avoid pitfalls and obstacles in his way. Superficial or incorrect understandings stemming from hasty, erroneous conclusions are due to false pride in one's material logic instead of reliance on higher spiritual authority, and this pride can cause extensive delays in one's progress in Krishna consciousness. To avoid these dangers, a devotee must carefully train his mind as detailed in this verse. His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, gives the essence of these teachings in his practical instructions, and his own life is a living example. He utilized automobiles, jets, PA equipment, printing presses, computers, and other modern conveniences in the service of Lord Sri Krishna, thereby demonstrating the principle that when something is directly engaged in devotional service, it bears not even the aroma of material pollution. The devotional service of elevating people to their original God consciousness, Krishna consciousness, in the present day and age can employ unlimited material objects in devotional service, as demonstrated by Srila Prabhupada. Anyone who criticizes a bhakti yogi for utilizing material objects in the service of Lord does not know the essence of spiritual science. To understand activity in spiritual life, one should study the lives of pure devotees who have achieved perfection in Krishna consciousness. The Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and other authorized Vedic literatures are filled with examples from the lives of great realized devotees. In this regard, the reader may also study the life history of His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada in his biography Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita. Through the examples of devotees who have achieved perfection, one may learn how to properly renounce material things as well as how to always maintain attachment to Lord Krishna through pure devotional service. The devotional process recommended in the present age of Iron is Sankirtan Yajna, or Sankirtan Yajna, or the sacrifice of glorifying the Lord's holy name and fame. Devotional service has been made easier to perform in this age through this process of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Therefore, for this age, practical renunciation can be easily achieved by utilizing all varieties of material paraphernalia to expand the glories of the Lord's holy names and uplift the members of human society to their original blissful consciousness. So we'll continue our reading next time from verse number 15. And I'd like to wish all the mothers, especially in UK, a happy Mother's Day. And also happy Dwadashi to everyone. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.